Ever since the 1440s, when Johannes Gutenberg invented that first printing press, books have been the primary way that people soaked up information and enjoyed being transported to strange and fabulous new realms. Being able to reproduce multiple copies meant that for the first time a society's collective wisdom and of course their evocative tales were now accessible to the common man and woman, or at least accessible to anyone fortunate enough to have learned how to read. One no longer had to attend an institution of higher learning in order to study the topics that interested them, with nearly every subject found within the pages of volumes. All the knowledge in the world could be assessed by comparing the perspectives and the conclusions of diverse specialists who wrote them. Those who might never get to travel overseas found that they could fly on the wings of well-crafted wordage on virtual tours of distant lands and dreamy landscapes. As an introverted child, I escaped the city through the vehicle of my imagination, inspired and informed by a panoply of weighty volumes, taking refuge from the clamor of urbanity and the pressures of consensus within their colorful covers. My mother regularly took me to browse the local used bookstores, where I was particularly enchanted by the oldest of the volumes, savoring their smells and tracing with my fingertips the patterns on their embossed leather covers. It's been a long while since leather was a thing, but even inexpensive softbound editions still pack an allure for me like nothing else can. Even when they happen to be all centered around a single theme, each has something different to offer me, drawing from a wide range of traditions and approaches and reflecting the personal opinions and experiences of all their prolific authors. Stored upon my shelves, the ideas contained can be revisited and reconsidered at any time. Google searches and online research can't compare to an e-book's orchestrated subjects, to their weft and weave, flowing from an encapsulating intro to an often artful conclusion. And nothing can replace the physicality of a printed copy, its weight reflecting the significance and the importance of its content, turning by hand its pages of genuine tree flesh and expressive ink. Computers and the worldwide internet may disappear at some point in the future due to financial, societal, or environmental collapse. But if so, the surviving library of books will again be recognized as the true, irreplaceable treasures that they are. Over the past decades, my partner and I have produced dozens of different titles for natural healers, for nature lovers, for visionaries and world changers. This includes those that we wrote ourselves for our special and atypical community, as well as dozens of compilation books composed of in-depth essays by the amazing contributors to our Plant Healer Quarterly magazine, as well as a number of authors who taught at the annual Good Medicine Confluence. In this episode, I'll be providing you with an overview of the titles available right now on the online Plant Healer bookstore. Clicking the like button is going to go a long ways towards helping others see this and at the same time to see our other videos. So please, and thank you for that. Let's start with The Herbalist, Your Healer's Journey, a book transcribed directly from talks that I presented in this Plant Healer video series, graciously hosted here by my dear friend Mason Hutchinson's Herbal YouTube channel. Its 39 chapters get to their points rather quickly, in a more relaxed and unbridled conversational tone than the more literary tone of my other books, and with little extraneous padding, and I have to admit it, damn few filters. This one's a faster tempo, no breaks version of my characteristic teachings, described somewhat generously by my associates as plant-hearted sermons, wildling counsel, or herbalist cheerleading. It certainly contains plenty of practical tips and important info for folks either practicing or just entering into the natural healing field. But it's more than anything else what I call a compendium of hopeful inspiration and relentless encouragements. Its message is essentially that you and your healing work matters. It's that magic is alive, and ain't it wonderful? The message is that it's okay to be different, and you can do it. The Plant Healer's Path. If you were only going to buy one book to introduce yourself to the practice, the ethics, and the enjoyments of herbalism, this could be the one. In its preface, the esteemed herbal elder David Hoffman calls the Plant Healer's Path, quote, the clearest description yet of a truly grassroots manifestation of herbalism, of humanity's reconnection with healing nature and reconnection with the wild. Here I wrote chapters covering the history and the precepts of herbalism, the many traditional and contemporary forms that it takes, determining your possible roles, your needs, your goals, the pitfalls and the rewards, empowerment and ethics. Thirdly is the practice of herbalism. This book is my follow-up title to the foundational Plant Healer's Path, delving into more of the most important topics that herbalists and others need to consider when either starting or further evolving a life of purposeful healing in this day and age. Herein are many of the criteria and options that you'll likely need when choosing who and choosing how to be, growing your gifts, and deciding how best to give, creating, reforming, deepening, expanding, or otherwise improving your plant-hearted practice. Topics here range from the ways of getting the optimum natural healing education to becoming or getting better at becoming a teacher of herbalism, from sourcing quality herbs to making your own remedies, and from herbal provings to stocking the herbal apothecary. Wonderments. At the heart of herbal practice is not just a set of skills, but a state of amazement and a natural sense of magic. Wonderments is perhaps my favorite of all that I've written, a considerably expanded version of my previous book, The Enchanted Healer, exploring the depths of our creature awareness, our intuition, our insights, the lessons of the natural world exemplified by inspirited places and revelatory plants. These lessons and gifts include increasing our self-understanding, the reinhabitation of the sensate body and the vital present moment, awareness of physical and energetic patterns, and the unashamed sense of mystery, enchantment, and delight necessary for us to be whole and wholly effective practitioners of life. Here you'll find encouragement to do what others might call impossible, which is fully inhabiting and passionately co-creating the diverse manifestations of a fairy tale-worthy life. You're invited to step through the portal into the rich and the marvelous sensorium, into altered ways of perceiving and thinking, into the lore of our shared unfolding story, the wonderments that excite and inform our purpose, the enchantments that enliven and delight as they inspire. The healing terrain. The most essential element in natural healing has got to be nature. From the herbs that it provides us to the positive, healthful examples that it offers. It's the source of and the fuel for our sentience and awareness, wildness and liberty, growth and effectiveness, satisfaction and ultimate fulfillment. By deepening our conscious relationship with the land, we create the opportunities and conditions for increased sensual engagement and creature-like awareness, broadened organic perspective, greater insight, holistic understanding, dynamic reciprocity, personal liberation and rewilding, empowerment and self-authority, uninhibited pleasures and fun, and greater effectiveness at nearly everything we do, including our personal healing practices. I wrote the Healing Terrain as a deeply felt invitation to connect to the land more than you might have ever connected to it before, and included some tools and some tips for its accomplishment. In its pages, we explore sense of place, what it means to connect to wherever we might be living, and the call to find and inhabit that one region that can serve our health and our well-being, our growth, purpose, and satisfaction the best. Chapters cover grounding, gardening, and wildcrafting, purchasing and rewilding a piece of land, and rewilding both our beings and our daily lives, changing ourselves and our world for the better. The Traveling Medicine Show. One of the more misunderstood bits of healing history is the story of the Traveling Medicine Show, with orators touring and performing in small venues throughout the United States back in the 1800s and the early 1900s. While some of these were indeed charlatans and so-called snake oil salesmen, others provided credible herbal remedies to folks unable to access regular doctors or the information needed to treat themselves. My book here chronicles the unfortunate shift in the dominant culture from plant medicines to what are often harmful pharmaceuticals, as well as covering the benefits and the joys of resurgent herbalism in this modern age. Every page is filled with full-color illustrations, including fascinating vintage herbal advertising. The Medicine Bear. The Medicine Bear is the last of my books that I'm going to mention here, and it's the only piece of Wolfen fiction included. An historical novel set on the rural Arizona and New Mexico border at the turn of the 20th century. It's an unabashedly magical, sensual, and yes, overwhelmingly romantic tale of love and loss, of longing and renewal. It's a paean to the southwestern wilderness that lead characters Eland and Omen are so deeply rooted in. The plants, the mountains, and the medicine bear all sing to us in its pages. Even as native cultures are being threatened and the Old West fades, love and the call to heal continues to inspire, even beyond death itself. Green medicines such as moonwort, sage, wild rose, evening primrose, even the alder tree are animated therein by the vision and the words of that adventurer poet Eland, and by his caring observations of his partner, the strong-willed frontier herbalist Omen. With its plant lore and its hints about gathering and working with herbs, the Medicine Bear offers not only an uplifting tale of an inspiring education, but also offers you the kind of info that you're going to need to become more intimate with the healing plants around you. The Weed Wife's Remedy. Kiva, my one-time wife and lifelong partner, is without any exaggeration one of the finest writers that I've ever read. Her ability to paint pictures with her words and evoke mystery and sensation is unsurpassed. Her intense herbal studies result in volumes of useful information brought to life through her personal experiences and her sometimes unique insights. While her work appears in many of the Plant Healer compilations, The Weed Wife's Remedy is the first of her own books, bringing to you the clues and skills that can help you make your practice as powerful and as wonderful as possible. Materia Medica, Volumes 1 through 4. One cannot be a very effective herbalist without a deep understanding of a range of medicinal plants, with their identifying characteristics, their components, their energetics and actions. So we put together for you 4 different volumes so far, and there will no doubt be more coming, each one containing over 500 illustrated pages that feature 75 or more plant profiles by 30 plus contributing authors. The greater our familiarity with the medicinal plants that we use, the greater our success will be in treating the conditions and contributing to health. To this end, I hope that our Materia Medica books will help serve you as a resource, an aid, and an inspiration. Fungi Medica, medicinal mushrooms. This is the first of a series focused entirely on medicinal shrooms. The world of fungi is, as you know, incredibly vast and diverse, with these ancient and essential life forms given the alchemical role of transforming the elements of this breathing, evolving earth. Fungi Medica helps us look with new eyes into different representative species, their natural history and their medical past, their complex chemistry and amazing actions, and the different conditions that they can be used to treat. What distinguishes this shroom book from others is its brilliant authors' often novel ways of thinking and applying what they know, along with the utter depth of their explorations and their assessments. As usual, its chapters are drawn directly from the pages of Plant Healer Quarterly. Indeed, our gratitude goes out to Plant Healer's vital contributors, providing fascinating new material every 3 months, and thereby making it possible for us to also bring these mini books to you. Rather than being just a collection of field guide monographs or recipes, this series is going to equip you with powerful ways in which to understand, work with, and ultimately partner up with these most incontrovertibly amazing health-gifting beings. Home medicine making. Home medicine making is our compilation focused on the basic as well as the advanced information and skills needed for making your own tinctures, oils and salves, hydrosols, oxymols, smoking herbs, and much, much more. Included as well are important and compelling discussions about herbal selection criteria, herbal constituents, chromatography, methods for herbal provings, and herbal formulations. Whether you're an accomplished herbal practitioner or a newbie looking for more natural and less harmful ways of caring for the health of yourself and your family, with this book, you have the considerations and the techniques for making the medicines you desire right there in your own kitchen or shed, right there where you're most comfortable, at home. As you know, you can buy everything from quality crafted tinctures to highly questionable herbal capsules, even in chain grocery stores now. But the most dependably effective medicines will often be those that you have made yourself. In this way, you can be far more certain as to where the plants were sourced from and how quality and ethical they are. You can use fresh as well as dried plant matter. You can ensure the processes are done correctly, and you can orchestrate formulations specific to clients, specific to their conditions. It increases your capacity to provide care even in times of social or economic distress. And home medicine making helps deepen understanding of and intimacy with the plants that can heal us. Give it a try. You got this. Another alluring collection is Healing Scents, Aromatherapy, Botanical Perfume, and Aphrodisiacs. For the thousands of years, traditional practitioners have studied and utilized plant essential oils and distillates to obtain specific health benefits, treating anxiety, exhaustion, headaches, and so much more with the help of their amazing smells. Journey with us here to learn about the colorful history of this art. Explore the complex organic chemicals involved so that you can better select for the specific effects that you're looking for. Learn about what conditions can be treated in this way, along with the misconceptions, important safety and toxicology issues of essential oils. Read about how to formulate and process all healing scents, and be inspired by the ancient and contemporary arts of botanical incense, sacred smudging, and divination. There isn't hardly anyone who hasn't delighted in the smells of gathered flowers and culinary spices and food cooking on the stove, walking through the garden at sunset, the wondrous sense of the dark forest that you enter into, and can't help but delve into the wondrous healing powers of these scents. It's my sincere pleasure to join with you as you literally follow your nose to the magical realms of leaf and bloom, of health and well-being. That brings us to Herbal Beverages, a compilation exploring the history and the aesthetics of herbal beers, meads, wines, absinthe, mixed cocktails, and even cannabis-infused drinks, as well as non-alcoholic root beers, tree beers, and botanical sodas. This includes how to ferment, brew, concoct, mix, serve, and thus better utilize these aids and delights. And for an added sweetener, we've included a few articles about herbal aphrodisiacs, appropriately enough, given how often healed bodies and hearty drinks are likely to lead to carnal pleasures. You know that alcohol is commonly used to extract medicinal components from the various plants that you work with for making your tinctures and so forth. And so it's totally going to make sense that we can get some specific health benefits from herbs used in the fermentation process or else even added later as infusions. Various primate species are known to have been drawn to fermented fruits and seem to relish getting royally high on them. And they've also been shown to utilize herbs with known healing effects to treat their basic animal ailments. It's certainly no stretch to think that we humans have done the same thing from the very beginning, treasuring the plants that help heal our illnesses and wounds while also savoring the exquisite tastes and enjoyable effects of plant-based drinks. And it makes sense, as with so many things, that there are some exceptional practitioners, aficionados, and zealots who make a veritable art out of what are essentially the down-home crafts of healing, brewing, and mixology. These are the authors that are going to regale you here. We're honored to share and showcase these 13 plant healer contributors and hope that you'll greatly benefit from their inspiring offerings as you experiment with new herbal concoctions and enjoy the fruits of your explorations. A related book is entitled Nourishing Foods. Nourishing Foods is over 400 pages, written by 22 different plant healer authors. It's a compilation constructed around the related themes of food as medicine, incorporating medicinal herbs and tinctures into recipes, fermentation, sensory engagement, and the healing benefits of taking pleasure in cooking and in eating. It doesn't promote restricted diets of any kind, but instead this book seeks to inspire us to deepen our relationship with all that we eat, equipping us with information needed for selecting wild or cultivated ingredients with the nutritive and medicinal effects that we desire, empowering each and every one of us to be the artist, cook, creator of not just our meals, but of our life. When we stockpiled much of the necessary info, the next thing a practitioner needs to do is to utilize and apply what you've learned in your actual practice, whether it's for paying clients or for family and friends. Hence, our extensive series called Herbal Clinician. There are literally hundreds of chapters here in these 6 clinician volumes, written by hundreds of incredible herbalist writers, together providing the fundamental skills and tools that are needed for developing the most effective medicinal herb practice possible. Covered in these pages are innumerable, invaluable subjects such as various health conditions, first aid, herbal treatments, remedies and protocols, as well as approaches, client intake and assessments, tongue assessment, placebos, success criteria, marginalized populations, integrating herbalism into the conventional medical system, the intersection of nursing and plant medicine, red flag symptoms, blood work, lab values, dosage, herb-drug interactions, counterindications, and even patient compliance. With over 500 pages in each, the 6+ herbal clinician books together will equip you with the most crucial practice info on nearly every aspect of applying your herbal knowledge to the effective helping of all those who need you. A related book is called Herbal Therapeutics for Women, Pregnancy, and Children. And here you have a book dedicated entirely to the health and the treatment of women, to the processes and the potential problems of pregnancy, and to the care of our children. Its 21 experienced contributors write about a vast range of special topics such as female anatomy, estrogen, PMS and menopause, fertility, insemination, birth control, abortion and miscarriage, herbs for breastfeeding, and herbs for lymphatic health, plus an entire section on childhood conditions, treatments, and herbal support. Another one is called Herbal Treatments for Emotional Well-Being. These days, there's a great need for tending people's mental and emotional well-being. We increasingly are living and functioning within a highly unhealthy and stressful, polarized world of human making, with the pressures of life in this matrix exacting a very high cost on us all. These costs and consequences include massive stress that naturally weakens the immune system, as well as impacts our chances for equanimity and balance, focus and enjoyment, peace of mind or satisfaction. The constant threats of war and ecological collapse, and unsettling examples of unkindness and injustice on social media, these sorts of things mean that we are perpetually on high alert, engaged in emergency adaptation and crucial remediation. The repair and tending of hearts, minds, and spirits is every bit as essential to our personal healing mission and efforts as it is to our personal long-term survival and our overall well-being. The 14 authors and 26 chapters here look at mental health conditions and therapeutics. They look at trauma and children with special needs, at autism, at substance abuse and treatment, at addiction, anxiety, depression, eating disorders, and at botanical substitutes for psychiatric drugs. It talks about herbs for resilience. Next, we have herbal business, starting and sustaining an herbal enterprise. If you wanted to make herbalism your career and mission instead of just a personal hobby and practice, there's much that you're going to need to know. This is the book about envisioning, launching, sustaining, and growing the herbal business that you may have always dreamed about. Its many chapters look at personal paid consultations, retail apothecaries and clinics that you can launch, herbal nurseries and farms you can manage, producing medicinal plant products to sell, launching and directing a physical or an online herbal school, establishing a free clinic, and traveling to teach at schools, herb shops, and conferences. Creating an herbal-hearted enterprise that can support you while helping others is nowhere near as hard as you might imagine. And it's worthy of your exceptional planning, effort, determination and devotion, passion and love. The Folk Herbalist. Here we bring to you a compilation of writings enlivening the many aspects of folk herbalism, from profiling traditional practices around the world to humble but effective kitchen herbalism, self-empowered practice and serving your community, planting your roots and personally blossoming. Humanity across the globe has always made use of botanical medicines, right? While not a comprehensive representation of every country's or culture's healing traditions, this book's 39 chapters is going to shine a light on home and grassroots herbalism like never before. The great panoply of regional practices and the sensibilities, mythologies, and tales that bring their herbs' uses, spirits, and magic to life for us. Traditional and ancestral herbalism. As important as our other books are, with their focus on contemporary practices, research, and the latest conclusions or discoveries, so too can your healing work benefit from a deepened and a nuanced understanding of the ancestral, historic, and traditional systems and approaches of the herbal and natural health practitioners who first preceded us, who made our goodly informed work possible. In Volume 1 of these books, our authors explore and bring to light a sampling of traditions from all around the world, including from Native America, from medieval and classical Europe, from the Celtic Isles and the United States of the 18th and 19th centuries, illuminating the medicinal plants and the methodologies that are used, and some of the people who advanced our vital work, from Hildegard von Bingen to Samuel Thompson and the little-known black herbalist, the slave Nell. Dip into the worldview of the Irish Bonifacia, ancient herbal astrology, and the earthy and venerable wise woman tradition that continues thriving and assisting us to this very day. In Volume 2 of this series, you'll get an in-depth exploration of the herbal traditions of historic physiomedicalism, including dosage protocols, women's sacred household medicine, Hispanic America and curanderismo, the rural southern U.S. and Appalachia, ancient Israel, Italia, Croatia, Ukraine, and more. Whatever your ancestry, cultural affiliation, or your healing aims, the book's traditional and ancestral plant medicine exists to assist you on your personal path, helping you to root to the land and to the people and the hopes of your wise herbal ally predecessors. Which brings us to our contemporaries, with a book called Herbalist Visions and Visionaries. This book features 28 in-depth conversations with 28 different and exciting voices propelling the continuing evolution of our plant medicine. Read the very personal stories of these influential plant healers, herbal clinicians, plant geeks, boundary-shifting activists, gardeners, botanists, medicine makers, folklorists, mystics, kitchen witches, and activists. And be inspired on your own personal path of healing and practice. Included are the herbalists' personal lives and their livelihoods, their secrets, their tools, and their tips. Previously unshared stories about their childhoods, education, experiences, perspectives, loves, peeves, and hopes. Candid and vulnerable and unscripted. It covers their feelings about underutilized herbs, about little-known uses for the most commonly known plants. They talk about constitutional models, about energetics, diagnostic methods, case study examples, and treatment protocols. They talk about what herbal students most need to know and how to effectively teach. Critical thinking, assessments, and clinician-client skills. Approaches to registration, certification, regulation, and licensing. They talk about herbal justice and activism, inspiring and encouraging personal advice from their hearts to you. Diverse visions of herbalism and herbalism's future, and of course, how we can best get there. Liminal Plants and Fungi, Consciousness and Psychedelics. In this very exciting book, 11 different boundary-leaping contributors help us lead into a world of infinite discovery and intimate self-knowledge. Plant Healer Publications, as you know, is devoted to the aims and the arts of healing, including not only the mending of bodies, but also of the human psyche, the reawakening of the imagination, and the deepening of our personal connection to the natural world that we're each an integral part of. The focus here in this book is on human and vegetal consciousness and on the ways in which entheogenic plants and mushrooms can inform, reform, and revitalize us. Chapters cover new science, vitalism and healing, archaic techniques of ecstasy, and the psychedelic experience itself. Psilocybe, shapeshifting, and the she. Amanita muscaria, nightshades and legal plants for enhancing consciousness. Plant-spirit communication and herbal practice and ecologies of consciousness. Explore here the nature and the power, the ancient roots and the ever-evolving forms of human consciousness, excitingly brought to the forefront with the help of these other incredible plant helpers and fungal allies. The next book to tell you about is an awesome one, written by Dr. Kenneth Profrog. Kenneth is a leading thinker in the field of natural healing and an engaging agent of higher human consciousness. We're proud to bring out his first title called Psyche and Substance, Plant Medicine in the Bush of Ghosts. Profrog's teachings are literally cosmic, and not in the sense of being out of or beyond this world of flesh and plant and fire, but in the sense of the vast and the limitless, wherein the microcosm and the macrocosm together constitute what is the symphonic and dynamic wholeness. And who else can so powerfully bring together in a single essay or presentation the chemistry and the energetics of herbs and the workings of organ systems? The balanced powers of both logic and magic, cultural traditions and new scientific approaches, astronomy and practical metallurgy, the revealing symbiology of vampires, and the lessons and implications of ancient martial arts. He at once weaves together the most credible and revealing understandings of botanical medicine, of naturopathy, history, anthropology, of mind-altering plants and fungi, of magical and spiritual practice, composing a conceptual worldview and an actionable structure that begs for our personal customization and employment. Finally, I present to you Botanica Folklorica, Herbal, Tree, and Mushroom Lore. This is a pleasurable and a thought-provoking collection crafted by 13 authors, including my own daughter Inga, including with beautiful mythical and botanical illustrations, bringing vividly to life nearly every one of its 357 pages. Its 31 chapters each delve into a different facet of the truly incredible spirit and the ancient lore of medicinal plants, trees, and mushrooms. Needed now more than ever as a new plant healer mythos, rooted in an indelible imagery, indelible archetypes, in morals and lessons, and yet vibrantly representative of us and our work right now, addressing modern problems along with our ageless questions and wonderings. Stories from the past have forever been amended and reconstructed to meet the most urgent requirements of the present moment. The hawthorn, the oak, and the elder each represent something different, as their arbors frame some of the best-known mythologies. Herbs like valerian, anemone, witch hazel and St. John's wort that have long been a central part of a healer's apothecary crop up here as significators in story after story after story. And from the darkened moss and loam of proverbial fairy tale, there arises a glowing cluster of spotted crimson caps and spectral white mushrooms, drawing our attention from the rote and the mundane, reintroducing us once again to the mysterious and the as yet unknown, drawing our attention to the unexpected and to the unusual, to the most immediate, significant, and meaningful, to the inspirited and magical, to the revelatory and the inspirational. Our lore is that great fairy tale which we're both the co-authors of and the central characters in. It's the dark forest of mystery and possibility from which we rise in full costume into the light of our healing work and our meaningful lives. I hope that you'll enjoy these and other tales, discovering what they have to tell or give to you personally every day, making your personal life and work one of the most powerful and effective possible stories of all. And you'll note that nearly all the material in these books I just described first appeared in the beloved Plant Healer quarterly ebooks. These are available only by subscription. If you're interested, please visit planthealermagazine.com to sign up for the upcoming editions, and in this way, supporting our mission and availing yourself of the info and inspiration that can propel you and your practice forward into the future. All the above titles are available to purchase through the online Plant Healer bookstore. You can choose between deluxe hardbacks, soft covers, and the very affordable PDF ebook versions. So, my friends, thank you for joining me in this exposition of literary delights, their tools, and their tales. It would be very kind of you to share the link to this video on your social, to leave a like if you would, and to give us your thoughts, comments, and recommendations for other beloved books down in that comment section below. Together, we turn the page.